Hi everyone, Jay Egersdorff here, previewing game week 26 of the Fantasy Premier League. Game week 25 is just behind us with the midweek round of matches. Quite a tough midweek for me. I got 52 points, but I did a -4, so 48 overall. That's put me to 970 something, so just outside the top 1,000. Still pretty good. But a bit of a drop from where I was a bit earlier in the season, but still plenty of matches left and a lot of chips that I've still got to play and my wild card, so hopefully I can improve on that rank at the end. I always find it tough in the midweek games. Life kind of gets in the way, you've got work and things, and the observant amongst you will have noticed that I'm sat in slightly different surroundings. So I actually moved house on Tuesday, so that really didn't land well with the deadline. Part of the reason I took a -4, so I took out Ericsson, which is a bit stupid given that he scored in the end. Put in a couple of cheap guys, Joe Allen and MacArthur instead of Arnautovic. Used that money to put in Aguero instead of Calvert-Lewin. So a bit of a switch round. I've got quite an aggressive front three now for the next few weeks. Clearly, it might be better if I'd have gone for De Bruyne, but we are where we are, and still not a bad score. Nearly hit my target, which is, as we know, 50 points every week. Not quite got there. So I hope you had a good game week. For those who brought in Walcott, very well done. We talked about him a couple of videos ago. I felt that he is somebody with FPL pedigree and somebody that could really hit the ground running. He's got a point to prove to get in that England World Cup squad, so great work if you managed to put him into your team. Transfer window, of course, is now closed. And I think that is a good thing. It's always a fluid time, and we talked a few videos ago about change bringing opportunity for fantasy managers. Well, now that window's gone, everybody can assess where the changes are. I think there's been quite a lot of big transfers. So obviously Sanchez, Giroud, Lucas Moura, Aubameyang. So all big names that have moved around. I think for those latter four, and probably Sanchez included, I think it would be an idea to wait maybe before you jump on those players. Anyone who saw Sanchez last night, but he had a good game, but I don't remember him having a shot. I can't remember certainly not having one on target. Trying to find his feet in that Man United team. I know Man United didn't play that great. Arsenal especially have got a couple of tricky games coming up, but then their calendar eases a bit towards game week 29. I think it is. They've got a bit of an easier run of games. A couple of interesting strikers, Sturridge and Slimani both got moves. Not sure either of those are good options at the minute. Sturridge is very expensive and Slimani has got a bad record with injury, so perhaps wait for those two guys. A couple of the transfers that did catch my eye. If you're looking for a cheap option, Ulloa has gone from Leicester to Brighton. He's 4.8. I know Brighton don't score very many, but they are desperate for goals, and he has a track record. He had a really good season there a few years ago. Maybe not one to jump on straight away, but it could become a cheap option. And a player that's playing really well at the minute, and I think the move of his brother Andre coming to Swansea will really help Jordan Ayew. I think that will really improve his motivation and drive. Swansea have got some great fixtures, so that could be another cheap option for you. Again, if you're looking for some bargains, I think some good options freeing up in the cheap defender category. So West Brom, Leicester, Swansea, Stoke and Bournemouth are all teams that have shown some defensive solidarity recently, and they've all got some pretty good fixtures. Stoke especially have caught my eye. As people know, I'm a Blackburn fan, so I have experienced Paul Lambert's management style. It is quite negative. He's gone in there at Stoke. One of the first things he's done is tighten up the defence, and they've had a couple of clean sheets already. So there's a chap playing right back for them that's just signed in this window called Bauer. He's not from the DVD of 24. He's not an action hero, but he is an Austrian right back, and he's played quite well in the last few games. So that might be one to look at. People asking me about Spurs players, what to do with them. Well, you saw myself, I jumped off Ericsson. I did keep Kane, even though I did think, as we know, my Kane exit strategy, I thought now could be a good time. He should really have scored yesterday. There was one when Son went down the wing and should have crossed it in for him, but decided to shoot. And he did have a few shots on target, so Kane, I think, still playing well. The Spurs guys, I think, on last night's showing are playing well. Got to go to Anfield now. Liverpool, not great at the back, can be a bit inconsistent, although they don't let many in at home. And then they've got Arsenal in the derby. So unless you've got some other pressing issues, at the minute I think carrying a free transfer if you can. I probably can't this weekend because I've got that twit Masuaku who managed to get himself a ban for spitting, so I probably need to shift him out. But if you can carry the transfer, I'd just sit on it for now, because you can analyse the impact of these players who've moved in the window, what the new lineups look like, get a feel for how they're fitting in, and that might be more valuable to you in the next few weeks. Captaincy options this week. Talked about it last week. Salah, I think he's pretty solid. I think you've got Kane, of course, away at Anfield. We talked about, not easy. Aguero's away at Burnley if you have him. I mean, City, fantastic goal scoring record, and they look pretty good. And then there's a few other outside options that you might want to consider. I've seen people even have tweeted me talking about Callum Wilson. I mean, Bournemouth are on a great run, they're up to 10th. Could he be an option? I think that's a bit risky for me, but maybe this is the week where you go with your gut a bit. If you've got a player who's on form and maybe a player that other managers don't have in your mini league, and you fancy having a bit of a punt, there's no real obvious option. I think there'll be a bit of a spread as to different captains. Maybe you go Man United player, maybe you go Man United defender. I mean, are Huddersfield going to score at Old Trafford? I don't think so. So a bit of debate out there, but if you think you're looking for a safe option, Salah at home, I don't think you can go wrong. He's on a great run of form, even though Tottenham look pretty good as well. Liverpool always seem to get a goal. So I hope that's been useful. Going to have to be quick this game week because you've only got a day or so to turn around your team. And then hopefully that's the last midweek game, so they don't fit very well for me and my work lifestyle. Have a great game week. Thanks for all your support. Keep the comments coming, keep the Twitter dialogue coming. I really enjoy chatting with people, and have a great game week. Cheers.